All right, let's talk about the real estate world, because a single policy change from the National Association of Realtors is sending, well, shockwaves through the entire industry. So what is it? What does it all mean? And why is everyone talking about it? Let's break it down.
This isn't just some minor tweak to the rule book. We're talking about a change so fundamental that it really makes you wonder, could this one decision start to unravel the National Association of Realtors? I mean, this is the largest and most powerful trade group in the country we're talking about.
So, what exactly happened here? Well, for decades, there was this really strict rule that connected two absolutely critical parts of being a real estate agent. First, you have the Multiple Listing Service, or MLS, the essential database of pretty much every property listing out there. To get access to that, you had to be a member of the National Association of Realtors, or NAR. And now, that link is broken.
Okay, so here's the old way versus the new way. It's actually pretty simple, but the implications are profound. Before this change, if you wanted access to the MLS, you absolutely had to be a member of NAR. No ifs, ands or buts, no exceptions. But now, that power has been decentralized. The decision to grant access is now a local one, made by each individual MLS. That big, top-down national mandate, it's gone.
So, as you can imagine, an announcement this big created a whole lot more questions than answers, right? The entire industry was buzzing, and agents were basically left scrambling, trying to get some clarity from their local organizations. And this really captures that initial wave of confusion. I mean, look at this. Just a month ago, a survey from Inman showed that a huge percentage of agents were completely unsure about their local MLS policy. Only a tiny fraction had a clear answer, which left most people just in limbo. It was just a state of widespread uncertainty. Okay, but let's fast forward to today, and you can see the fog is really starting to lift. That big, unsure slice of the pie, it's shrunk dramatically. Now, nearly half of all the agents surveyed say they've gotten a clear answer from their MLS. So the industry is definitely moving from confusion towards clarity. But what are those clear answers actually telling us?
All right, this is where it gets interesting. The latest data finally gives us a real picture of how this new, kind of decentralized landscape is actually taking shape across the country. So the most common outcome so far? It's actually been stability. The majority of agents who got a clear answer were told that their local MLS is going to continue to require NAR membership. So for a lot of people, it's pretty much business as usual. But that is definitely not the whole story. While most are sticking with the old model, the really interesting question, the one that could be a game changer, is this: how many agents now have a real choice in the matter? And this is where the data gets super compelling, because we can now put a number on it. We can actually quantify just how many agents find themselves with an option they have literally never had before. 18%. That's the number. According to a December survey, 18% of agents now belong to an MLS that does not require NAR membership. Think about that. That's nearly 1 in 5 agents. This really shows you the real-world impact of this single policy change. So what exactly makes up this 18%? Well, it's kind of a mix. It includes the MLSs that just recently dropped the requirement because of this new policy change. But it also includes some that were, already operating this way. But when you combine them, it represents a really significant chunk of agents who can now get to their listings without being tied to the National Association. Okay, so all this data, it really points toward a potentially turbulent future for the National Association of Realtors. Why is this 18% figure so incredibly important? Because, for the first time, it unlocks the door for agents who have wanted to leave for a long time. And this quote from the Inman Intel report really gets to the heart of it. It says, many agents now say that they would prefer to leave NAR if they were no longer required to maintain membership. See, for years, tons of agents wanted out, but they just couldn't because leaving NAR meant losing their MLS access. And that's the absolute lifeblood of their business. To put it simply, for a lot of agents, that mandatory membership rule was the only thing keeping them in the NAR. Their hand was basically forced. And now, for at least 18% of them, that's just not the case anymore. Now look, it's way too early to know if this is going to lead to some kind of mass exodus. But for the first time in a very long time, the door is wide open for a huge number of agents. And the one question that is going to shape the entire future of this industry is a simple one. Will they walk through it?